Welcome to the Effortless Edge Podcast with me, Guinevere Ellis. Having spent over 30 years working on results with well-known companies, CEOs, and entrepreneurs from all over the world, as well as high net worth individuals and high-profile personalities, I'm here to share how you can create success in a more effortless way. So one of the things that I have found is that there are a lot of myths, around success and around successful people. And when you believe these kind of things, it's obviously going to hold you back from achieving what you really want to achieve. So I just wanted to run through a few, that I've heard over the years and kind of dispel those myths, and also share with you that, if you have this kind of belief around success and it's holding you back, then I'll give you some tips of what you can do to change that. So the first one that I've heard time and time again over the last couple of 3 decades actually, is that people who are really successful work really, really hard. They put in the long hours, they hustle and they grind, and they're networking and they're working 14-hour days and so on. Now, some people do choose to work those kind of hours, and that may result in success for those people. But you don't have to work that hard and those kind of long hours to get the same level of success. Now, as you know, my business is all, around this concept of effortlessness, but I just want to pick up on this belief that people have. Now, I used to have that belief myself, actually. So for years, I was in the corporate world and I was earning a good, what would generally be classed as a good 6-figure salary. And that was for a year of working full time. And at the time, I thought that was a decent, level of income. And I had this belief that I was kind of at that level to stay, because the belief I had was, if I wanted to go higher and earn $250,000 a year, or $500,000 a year, or $1 million, or whatever, I had this feeling in my body when I used to think about those kind of big incomes. Oh my gosh, no, I would have to sell my soul and give my pound of flesh if I wanted to increase my salary to those kind of big incomes. If I worked for a company and they paid me that much, they would expect me to just be there all the time. And I never wanted to work that hard. And so with that belief, I stayed in that corporate world for years, earning, a similar kind of salary. So I'd get a 10,000 pay rise here and there, and I'd get a promotion and so on. But nothing that was, that would be categorized as a huge quantum leap. So it's not true, because as I started the journey as an entrepreneur, I built my business extremely rapidly. And I never did those long hours that I had previously thought were necessary. I had young children at the time. I didn't want to commit that much of my life to my business. And so I want to dispel that myth, because if you have it and you think that to get to that level of success or that level of income, you would have to work so hard, I want to tell you that it's not true. So if you want to dispel that myth, of course, you currently believe it's factual, otherwise you wouldn't believe it, because you're not going to believe something you don't think is true. But if you start researching online and looking at people who've achieved success quite rapidly, or, in a different way, you will find that there are hundreds of thousands, I don't know what the number is, of people who have, gained a level of success without the kind of commitment to hard work that you think is necessary. Now, one of the other things that I hear people talking about all the time is that that successful people who succeed at a certain level, they like to do things that other people don't really like to do. And this is a particular pertinent point, because this morning I was going to attend to record this podcast, and I was going to talk about a different topic. And I was tired. I had a very busy day yesterday, and a long day, which is quite unusual for me. So this morning I thought, I don't really feel like doing this today. And that's the key point here. Because if you think successful people, they like to do things that other people don't like doing, then I'll share with you that they don't like to do them either. But here's the difference. And this is such a key point that I really want you to get. People who achieve, phenomenal success, they are driven by pleasing results. Okay, they want a certain kind of result. They're driven by, a purpose to make an impact and so on. They have a very strong reason as to why they're doing it, and they want the specific results that these certain kind of actions will enable them to achieve. But those individuals who never achieve the level of success that they want, they prefer pleasing methods. Okay, so doing things that are easier and they don't have to work that hard. They don't have to actually, it's not about the working hard in terms of long hours. I mean, being uncomfortable. Okay, so, there's a belief that if I have to do, I'd have to do all these things that I want to do, so I'm not going to do them. So the point here is, to summarize it, that successful people don't want to do those things either. They're just driven by the results rather than driven by comfort, by staying in their comfort zone. And so that's something that I want you to really start questioning in your mind. If you start telling yourself, well, I don't like to do that because I'm not very confident, or I'm not very good at that. You can just become confident and become good at things if you know how to do it, if you understand how to question these, repeated patterns that are going on in your mind. Now, another belief that I have found people to have is that people who achieve a huge level of success are luckier than others, or they have better connections. They have a lot of capital behind them. And I'd like to share with you that that is not the case. When I started my business, I had nothing behind me. I came out of the corporate world and I was starting from ground zero. I had no idea. So it isn't that they are luckier or that they have more capital. These are just excuses we give ourselves to make ourselves feel better. Oh, it was easier for that person because, they've always been lucky. Or it was easier for that person, they had huge money from their parents behind them, whatever. We just tell ourselves this stuff because it makes us feel better about ourselves. And it isn't true. Most successful people that I've worked with over the last 3 decades didn't come from a, particularly privileged background with huge connections and so on. They're pretty much self-made. So another one, and this is one that you might resonate with, is that, extremely successful people are very self-centered, selfish, that they are greedy. And for sure, I do remember years ago, I was always driven. And I remember somebody saying to me, oh, it's all about the money for you. And I remember thinking, no, it isn't. Why would somebody think that? It is never about the money. The money is kind of a bonus, right? So it's like the side effect. So the thing is, though, is I didn't believe that it was about greed or being selfish at all. But other people believe that. And because we generally, as humans, have a desire to be liked and accepted, we don't want to be seen as greedy and selfish. And we don't want to see ourselves that way either. But here's the thing. Here's the key thing. When you are driven to achieve a certain level of success and certain results, what you find is that you have much more time to enjoy life with your loved ones and to do the things that you want to do. So it's actually the opposite of being selfish and greedy. It's about being able to be more generous and help other people. So it's actually the opposite of what most people believe. And then the final one that I've come across, that there are many points, but this is, my kind of top 5, is that successful people are disciplined, like hyper disciplined in all aspects of their life. And this isn't true. The key discipline that I have found that extremely successful people have isn't getting up at 4 a.m. and going to the gym. It's not that kind of discipline. The discipline that you really need to cultivate to achieve huge, extraordinary success is discipline of your mind. not discipline of your activities. Because your mind and your thought processes drive your emotions, drive your actions and your behavior. So it's not that they're disciplined in everything, in working out. And, you've probably seen these hugely successful people talking about their morning routine and thinking, oh, I would never want to do that, so I guess I'll never be successful. It's not true. These are very curated little videos that you're seeing. So it isn't about being disciplined in every area of your life. It's about knowing where you want to go and making sure that you discipline your mind to stay focused on that goal and not listen to all the inner narrative and all these false beliefs that are holding you back. So just to summarize then, what I would suggest that you do is that you question all these beliefs that you have. Take out a piece of paper and make a list of your top 5 things that you believe about successful people, and then disprove them to yourself and start creating different beliefs. Tell yourself that you're very lucky. Just all the time. I'm so lucky. I'm very lucky. I'm such a lucky person. Because if you believe lucky people create success and you believe you're lucky, then you'll believe that you will create your own success. So I just wanted to dispel those myths that I've heard people talk about so much and share with you that if you want to create extraordinary success, you can do it your way. You don't have to do it the way society has previously programmed you to believe is necessary. You can do it your way and achieve whatever it is that you really want.